This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll be starting our next topic, that is methods of executing Mrp. Okay. So the topics that we are going to cover, they are, we will see what is total Mrp, new Mrp life, Mrp planning sequence. Okay. Then we will see single item planning. Okay. Interactive planning. What is interactive planning? How it is used. Then we will discuss about scope of planning. What is scope of planning and under which business scenario we will be using scope of planning. Then different Mrp procedures. So these are the topics we will be covering in the methods of execution of Mrp. Okay. So basically, there are different methods of executing Mrp. Okay. You can run Mrp as a total planning. Total planning means it is at plant level. Planning of all materials in one or more plants. Okay. So let's say in a company, in a plant, you have a lot of materials. You cannot run Mrp for each and every material. That's why you have this total planning. That means you just give the plant, you run Mrp, it will plan all the materials in that plant. Okay? So high level total planning, one method. I will come to this again in the total planning. Different methods are there. I will come to this in a minute. Next one is single item planning. That means you are planning only one item. One item means one material. Okay, so you have two options. Either you can do planning for all the materials in the plant, which is called total planning. Another one is single item plan, single material. You can do only for single material. Okay. Again, in that you have different options. We will discuss that when we go to single item. Okay. Now this is in the classical Mrp. This is in the old ECC. Old ECC. Now in S4 HANA, they came up with a new function called Mrp Live. Mrp Live. Okay, this I will show it in the system, in S4 HANA system. What is this Mrp Live? How it is different from the old ECC classical Mrp? We will discuss that. Okay, so basically on a high level, you have two types of two methods of execution. Okay, so one is total Mrp, Another one is single. Okay, single item. Single item means single material. Simple. Don't get confused with this word. Single item means single material. Okay. So first we'll start with the total Mrp. Okay. So let's talk about total Mrp. So in the total Mrp, as I just explained, total Mrp means you run Mrp at plant level. You run Mrp for one plant. Okay. So on the screen, you have the option to enter the plant. Okay. You enter the plant and then it will run Mrp for all the materials in that plant. Okay. This you can do it foreground. And also option is you can execute this Mrp run at plant level as a background job. That means you schedule it as a background job. Okay, then at a particular frequency and particular time. Accordingly, system only automatically will run in the background. So you have two options. Either you can run it foreground or you can execute it as a background job. Okay. So as of now, I'll show you how to execute foreground. Background job execution, when we go to background job scheduling class, that time I will explain how to schedule a background job, how to do that I will explain. Okay. So let's see the total Mrp. Okay. Let me log into the system. Okay. So I'll show you the path also. Go to logistics, go to production, go to Mrp, go to planning. Okay. Here you see there is a folder, total planning. You see, there is a folder called total planning. Open this. Here you see MD01. The T code is MD01. For online, to execute foreground, online, you can also call it as online. The T code is MD01. Okay, so here just double click. Okay, you will get this transaction. First, you have scope of planning. Scope of planning we will discuss in a minute. You have the plant here. Okay, so you enter your plant. Let's say I want to run MRP for all the materials in the plant 1710. You enter the plant and execute. What about, and you have here MRP control parameters. You have MRP control parameters, process control parameters. All these things we will discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a separate class for this MRP control parameters and process control parameters. That time we'll discuss. So here you need to just enter your plant and just enter, execute. Then it will start MRP for all the materials which are in this plant, and it will take some time depending on the number of materials. Suppose let's say this plant is having 50,000 materials, then it may take half an hour. Suppose let's say this plant is having, let's say, 2 lakh materials. In the real time, if the organization is a very large organization, obviously it will take some time because you are running for all the materials in this plant, right? So it will take time. So this is called total MRP. Online, you are going to execute as a front end. Okay. Next one, as a background job. Next one, background job. Background job. Okay. So if you execute online, it will take a lot of time. That's the reason normally it is executed as a background. The two non-business hours. Normally in the real time, they will execute this MRP as a during non-business hours. Non-business hours means in the night. During the daytime, users will be doing transactions. So if they execute MRP at that time, what happens is it may give some inconsistency. That's the reason they execute MRP normally during non-business hours as a background job at a particular frequency, or daily or weekly, monthly. Okay, they will decide, organization will decide. So they will execute during non-business hours at a particular frequency at a particular time. Okay, so that background job is this. If you go back, here is MTBT as a background job. MTBT, the T code is MTBT. MTBT. Okay, so here you go here, you need to schedule it as a background job. Okay, when we go to background job scheduling, that time I will show you how to schedule a background job, how to schedule it, then how to create a background job, how to schedule it, then how system will execute it automatically. That time I will show you. Okay, so in the background job scheduling, basically what happens is system only automatically will execute the MRP. You no need to run the MRP at a particular frequency. Like you in the background job scheduling, you will decide the frequency. You will decide the frequency and time. Frequency and time. Like whether you want daily frequency, whether you want every day or weekly or monthly, you will decide. Fortnightly, you will decide, and you specify a time in the background job. Okay, like every day in the night 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. Okay, so according to this frequency, according to the time, system only automatically will run MRP. That is total MRP at plant level. Okay, so that's at plant level. Now, when you run MRP at plant level, how system will plan the materials? This is the question we have. So when you run MRP at plant level, you have a lot of materials. So in which sequence MRP runs the MRP plans the materials? First, during MRP at plant level, first the system will plan the all the materials with low level code 000. We discussed this already. What is this low level code in our BOM classes? Okay, so first it will try to plan all the materials with low level code 000. That means you are normally your finished products. Once all the finished products are planned, it will start planning the materials with low level code 00. Once all the MRP of these materials is completed, then it will go to the next materials with low level code 00. Like this, the sequence will go on. Okay, we already discussed what is this low level code, where it is stored. All these things we already discussed in our BOM classes, bill of material classes. So when you run MRP at plant level, this is the sequence in which MRP plans the materials till all the levels are planned. Okay, so that is in the total MRP. This is an interview question. In the interviews, they will ask this question. when you run MRP at plant level, in which sequence MRP will plan the materials. Then that is based on the low level code. Okay. So that is on the total MRP.